Well, in light of Steamforged announcements last week on how they are changing some of the cadres, I have mixed up, changed my faction. So I still have several hundred points of old classic Warmachine. But for MK4, I was going to focus on the Troll Bloods. And then I'm 3D printing up all the cephalic stuff, the crick stuff also. But the only reason I really bought the Foul Bloods because the Brine Bloods don't super do it for me. A little bit aesthetically, but I really hate the Stumbling Drunk roll, to be completely honest with you. The only reason I went ahead and bought that cadre is because I thought I would have some useful stuff for when the Kithkin come out, the new Southern Creoles army, which is coming out this summer. But with the article last week, that is no longer going to be the case. That Foul Blood cadre will no longer work for them. So I ditched those guys and decided to pick up the Khymaera. This is the Shard Incarnate command cadre. So, you know, originally I was super tempted by Cadre, super tempted by Signar. The new Gravedigger stuff is just super cool. But I started looking at some models and the rules, and I found this guy, and his rules just seem super disgusting. His name is escaping me at the moment, but I'll remember it as we go through this. This comes with a war beast named Drakion, 2 Shard Conjurers, Incarnate Conjurers, and then a unit of Incarnate Knights, which is 3 dudes, and then the Warcaster himself. And I really like the Warcaster, his feat and his abilities. Actually, after the unboxing, I will post up the army list and I'll go through it so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Look at these guys. Apparently, when Privateer Press was still in charge, they printed these guys and they came out on a much smaller scale. And they decided to redo them in a larger scale, which is fine by me because they look pretty rad. What's better than a cybernetic dragon robot? How about a cybernetic dragon robot centaur? You know, because why not? Oh yeah, super cool. The Khymaera, I'll say the Shard Nocturne cadre that comes in the starter box. Not a huge fan of that aesthetic. I mean, it's cool, right? Cyber dragons, but doesn't hugely do it for me. This guy's weapon comes separately and should go on easy enough, just like so. Easy peasy. But then I started looking at the Khymaera's other units, and they have a whole lot. I'm gonna call them snake people. I know they're not snake people, they're cyber dragons, but a lot of them that look like they have snake tails. And I've been wanting to do a snake army for a long time. I have a couple of really cool snake models for Wildless Exodus. And putting together lists for one-page rules, I was always super tempted to try to just find a bunch of cool snake models and have a snake dude army. So this is Drakion, the heavy beast. I'll go through it in his rules, but he's got really cool. So he has Smite built in on one of his attacks, which Smite is a common ability in Warmachine, but generally speaking, it's usually triggered on a crit. And this guy just gets it. And then his other attacks he's got 3 initials if I recall correctly. And the one just has smite built in, and then the other one has trash, so he gets extra damage die versus knockdown foes. And he has follow up, so he just smashes someone to the ground, follows up on them, and just tears them up while they're on the ground. Seems pretty good to me, you know? But yeah, they have lots of snake models that look like snake dudes with the long tails and everything. This is one of the Conjurers in the Steamforged box. Now, if you get the old Privateer Press box, it only has 1 Conjurer in it. And like I said, they're smaller. They're scaled down a little bit. But the new current Steamforged one comes with 1 Conjurer and then 1 variant pose Conjurer. So you have 2 that look different from each other. And then they are slightly scaled up from the old ones. It's also a cheaper price point than the old Privateer Press one. Go figure. But then when I started looking over at the rules, the snake people drew me to this faction. Here's the caster. Yeah, he's a boss. Just his shield needs to be glued on. No big deal. And you know, there's a lot of supports on these guys. These little minuscule supports. You see them all over the place here. That's just normal 3D printing stuff. All that will have to be cleaned out, but it comes off real easy. So the snake dudes brought me to the faction, and then I started reading the rules. And man, these sentinel dudes just go super hard. So the army list that I'm working on is a combination of the two, really, and I think it works out pretty well. Good mixture of abilities. Obviously, we'll have to see. I'm a returning player. I've only played 3 games of MK4. All the rest of my games were 10 years ago, so I will really have to see how they play out. But it sounds super good to me. I'll go over it in the army list afterwards, what my ideas are. And then this is the other Conjurer. Looks pretty rad. I think they're cool. Cyber Dragon Centaurs, because why the hell not? Alright, that's it. Stay tuned and I will go over the army list. Okay, so this is the army list that I've come up with for Khymaera. This is the second iteration. I've been tinkering with the points a little bit. Originally, I did not have that second Draki on there. But I'll go through these things and then explain my thought process, and we'll see. So, Kyrax. This guy seems super good to me. Just go through this. He's cavalry, just like all the Incarnates seem to be. They all have Pathfinder, Soulless, Unstoppable. This guy has Alpha Hunter, War Beast in his battle group, beginning in his control range, which is 12, can charge, run, or make power attacks without being forced. Who can be mad about that? When this model destroys one or more enemy models during its activation, War Beast in his battle group, beginning their activations in his control range, gain +2 speed and mat for 1 turn. I mean, come on. That is a phenomenal ability. He has cleave, so when he kills someone, he gets to make another attack. He has reposition, so he can move 2 inches at the end of his activation. And he has steady, can't be knocked down. He has 1 sword, Palace, which is Mat 7 range 2, PAL 14 magic weapon. He has a shield, which is range 1, PAL 12 magic weapon, and it also has repel. I used to play Minoff back in the day, so I'm pretty familiar with repel. I think it was the Revengers that had that. I love that ability. So when he hits an enemy model with this weapon, the model hit is pushed 1 inch directly away. Also, when he gets hit with a melee attack, the attacking model is pushed 1 inch directly away. That right there can save your bacon, you know, depending on the situation who you're playing against. Like that ability. His feat, Avalanche of Steel. Friendly faction warrior models within his control range get +2 to melee attack rolls Additionally, when a friendly faction model destroys or removes from play one or more enemy models with an attack while in his control range, after the attack is resolved, one friendly faction warrior model within his control range can immediately advance up to 2 inches and make one basic melee attack. You can only advance an attack as a result of Avalanche of Steel once per game. So basically, he has sidestep and cleave for all of his faction warrior models on his feat turn. Pretty darn nice. I like this spell a lot. Execration of Blackest Night. While within 10 inches of the spellcaster, enemy models suffer -2 to their attack rolls, last for 1 round. This in combination, I'll go through with the rest of the list, but Zacchaeus is in this list. He has an ability to give -2 defense and -2 to their damage rolls. And then I have other models in this list. There's a lot of continuous fire in this list. And these guys have a bubble of models with continuous fire on them, have -2 to their attack rolls also. So that's a lot of static debuffs, really. -4, potentially -4 to hit, -2 on your damage. That's pretty gross. He has Unstoppable Force, which grants Bulldoze. Pretty good. Vortex of Destruction. Damage rolls against enemy models in this melee range are automatically boosted. And he has Watcher. So I will go over this with the Drakion. So once per turn, when an enemy model advances and ends its movement within 6 inches of the spellcaster, you can choose a cohort model in his control range. That cohort model can immediately make a full advance towards the enemy model and then make one basic attack targeting the enemy model. I think that is an amazing defensive feat, and I will tell you why when we look at the Drakion. Also, I guess I didn't go over his stats. Speed 7, Arcane 6, Mat 7, Defense 13, Arm 18, Control 12, Arc 6. Not bad. Not the greatest, but not bad. He does have 20 health, which is pretty decent for a caster. Arm 18, I'm not mad about it. So the Drakion, keep in mind that Watcher spell. So the Drakion has extended control range, which means he can, when you're checking for range, you can double it. He has follow up, so when he slams someone, he immediately can move toward them the same distance. He has steady, so he can't be knocked down. This guy is defense 11, arm 19, 3 fury, 9 threshold. I wish his fury was a little bit higher, but with that caster, he can run and charge without spending fury, so that helps. He has 28 health. So this is where it gets good. So he has Gore, Mat 6, range 1, POW 14. The model hit is slammed D6 inches directly away from this model. You see Smite a lot in this game. Usually it's on a critical effect. This guy just having it automatically, that counts as a basic melee attack. So if you remember that spell Watcher, so if someone ends in melee range essentially, or in that range of your Warcaster, this guy just gets to walk right over to him, do one basic melee attack, which would be Gore, to slam the guy away from your caster. They're basically, essentially ending the activation. I mean, depending on the kind of resources that the opponent has left. I think that's super good. Shield Guard is good, but what's better than that? Slamming away anybody that's threatening your Warcaster. But then on his own, so he has 2 claws, both have trash. They're only PAL 13, but the kicker is they gain an additional die on damage rolls against knockdown targets. And what does Smite do? Smite knocks down targets. So this guy charges in, gets the Gore, smites the guy, follows up, then trashes him on the ground, and he's getting additional die on that. That seems really good to me. He's 11 points. He's arm 19 with 28 health. He also, his Animus is Indomitable, which can crank up, can give him Unyielding to put him to arm 21. I think that's pretty good. We'll have to see how it plays. Originally, I only had one in the list, but the more I looked at it, I think it's pretty good. So we're gonna try two. So Drakion 1, Drakion 2. Then I'm running a Wyvern because the Wyvern is just super good. The Wyvern is an 80 mil base, has flight, has dual attack, of course can headbutt, slam, is soulless, has trample, speed 7, mat 7, rat 6, defense 13, arm 19, 4 fury, 9 threshold. Most of this army has super low defense but pretty good arm. Alright, reposition at the end of the move because it's speed 7 with flight, so of course they need reposition. Am I right? And then the loadout. So Flame Breath, Spray 10 has it's a fire attack plus it has continuous fire. POW 14. The Bite is range 2, POW 15. 2 Talons, range 2, POW 18. And a Tail Strike, range 3, chain weapon, POW 14, and has crit knockdown. So remember, it catches things on fire. Then it has Draconic Aura as its animus. When enemy model suffers a fire damage roll within 10 inches of the spellcaster, add +2 to the roll. Also, fire continuous effects affecting enemy models within 10 inches cannot expire. To me, that seems real good. That makes that Flame Breath a Spray 10 POW 16. That adds +2 to all the continuous fire rolls, and we're going to have a few of them. So moving on from the Wyvern, we have 2 Conjurers. They come as in the Cadre with the caster. So I don't know, we'll see, but I figured I would try them out. The main things with them, they're also soulless. They have Pathfinder, immune to fire, defense 12. Again, anything's hitting them, arm 15, 10 health, not super survivable. But look at their abilities. Flame Trail. When they advance into base to base with an enemy model, they set it on fire. Ideally, I don't think I want these guys in base to base, but hey, it's a thing they have. Magic abilities. They have Ashes to Ashes. Range 8, POW 10. If the target's directly hit, the D3 nearest enemy models within 4 suffer a POW 10 fire damage roll. So it's a fire damage roll, so the Wyvern's going to be adding +2 to that. Their next action, Fire Starter. Range 6, target friendly faction model. Its melee and range weapons gain continuous effect fire to light more people on fire, which is going to be at a higher damage, again, because of the Wyvern. They also have Purifying Prayer to make animi and continuous effects immediately expire in a 6-inch bubble. Situationally awesome. Again, they have Reposition, because why not? They have Steady, because why not? These are some of the snake-looking dudes. And Whip the Flames, so models suffering fire continuous effect while in this model's control range suffer -2 to attack rolls. Control range is 8. So this, stacked with the caster's spell, which is an additional -2, is giving people potentially -4 to hit. That makes that 12 defense look way better. And we are putting a lot of people on fire with this, so we should be able to see it happen. I have a couple spinners in here. So the spinners, also soulless, also Pathfinder, defense 13, arm 15. Magic abilities, they have Grim Return, so they can bring some grunts back. They have a heal, D3 +1, so seems good. It's range 1, so they have to be up close in the action, but it's D3 +1 heal. And then they have Smoke Bomb, so this is another part of my plan. I can center cloud effects on them, remain in play for 1 round. Acid Bombs, range 6, AoE 2, rate of fire 1. This one is POW 1210 with corrosive damage and then continuous effect corrosion. So I kind of wish it was fire to go more with the whole Wyvern thing, but I Also appreciate the fact that it is a different damage type in case I run across some people that are fire immune. So I have 2 spinners there, dropping clouds. Zacchaeus, I did a separate video on him. I'll just go over him real quick. He has Battle Wizard, he has Cleave, 3 awesome magic abilities. 1, for 1 round, living enemy models suffer -2 defense and -2 to damage rolls while within 5 inches of this model. His next one is Hoarfrost, range 8, AoE 2, POW 14/8. Causes cold damage on a crit hit, can make targets become stationary, which is super good. The main thing is Winter and Storm. Enemy models that begin their activations within 10 inches of this model lose Eyeless Sight, Flight, and Pathfinder that activation. That's really good. So basically, the whole army of that I'm taking here, even this guy has Pathfinder. They all have Flight or Pathfinder. Bring a bunch of defensive walls, try to utilize the terrain, pop Winter Storm. My whole army has Pathfinder. Your whole army doesn't. I also, if we look back on the list, between the 2 spinners and the 2 units of Cinderbacks, we have a ton of clouds being dropped. And that only affect the opponent, and then I take away his Eyeless Sight. Seems really good to me. He also has 2 attacks, 1 POW 12, 1 POW 14, both magic weapons with a crit freeze. One thing this list is short on is magic weapons, so it's another reason to bring this guy. With magic weapons, 2 attacks, with cleave, he should be able to get some work done. These defense 14, arm 17, he's cavalry, so those boosted attack rolls are really going to help get those crit effects off. Then let's look at some Incarnate Knights. They are also in the Cadre box, but they seem really good, so I decided to bring 2 units. Defense 11, arm 18, 10 health apiece, 3-man unit. Speed 7, mat 7. These guys are also soulless, also Pathfinder, also cavalry. They have crit knockdown, so again, those boosted attack, charge attack rolls really going to help get those crits off. And then they have POW 14 chain weapons. They have battle driven, so whenever one of them takes damage, the rest of the unit gets +2 arm, +2 to their damage rolls, and Pathfinder, which they already have, for 1 round, which makes that a POW 16 weapon, makes them arm 20. Now they're way more respectable. They have reposition 2. Most of this army has reposition, and they have steady. Most of this army also has steady. Seems pretty good. You pay a premium for them, but they have a lot of good abilities. And then the Wormspine Cinderback. So I'm bringing 2 units of these guys also. Speed 6, Mat 6, Rat 6, Defense 12, Arm 16. They're immune to fire, they're soulless, they have Pathfinder, they have dual attack, they are steady, so they can't be knocked down. Smoke Cloud. So center a cloud effect template on this model when it makes a ranged attack. This template remains in play for 1 round. Then their gun is Fire Blast, range 12, AoE 2, fired with crit fire, POW 13/7. So the Wyvern's going to make that POW 15/9. Choking Ash on a direct hit. Living warrior models hit cannot run or charge from 1 round unless they ignore gas effects. So they're 3-man units. I have 2 of them. Whenever they make a ranged attack, they're dropping a cloud effect on themselves, plus the 2 solos that drop cloud effects if I want. That's 8 clouds on the table. Zacchaeus in the middle of them, popping Winter Storm to deny the opponent Eyeless Sight. Seems good. And then they also have POW 12 Cleavers. That is secondary, but they do have dual attack, so that's nice. 8 health apiece. Have 2 units of those guys. Yeah, seems good. I'm 1 point shy. I'm at 99 out of 100. My initial lineup was a little different, had me right at 100, but I like the ideas of the 2 Drakions. the Wyvern, boosting everyone's fire rolls, Zacchaeus and Execration of Blackest Night, and the Spinners, no, the Conjurers, really with their static debuffs with the Whip to Flames, potentially -4 to hit, and potentially -2 on damage on the opponent, makes all these medium defenses look a lot better. You know, an 11, 12, 13 defense looks a heck of a lot better when they're at -2 to hit. It seems like a pretty good list. I'm eager to try it out. I'll get my first game in a couple days, but it's not going to be the full list because I only have half of the stuff at this point. But it'll be coming soon. I'm excited about it.